Indonesia. Some of you here know Les and Lois. They live in the Middle East, but they go to many different countries. And what they're doing is they're training people to reach that group of people who you just saw trying to find God. Training Christian people to be more effective in reaching across the religious barriers. We're doing that through their ministry. We do it in Ethiopia. We do it in Africa. We're working in partnership with many other people to reach people of different languages. The second thing we can do is we can equip new Canadians and send them back home. Like Raoul and Lily. Number one, they don't have to learn the language. They've already got Spanish. They already know the culture. They're a part of that culture. And they're saying to us, they came to Canada. They became a part of I don't know if they're part of the 87 nations of KRT. But that's Canada these days, isn't it? You come to any of our churches across Toronto and it's 87, 90, 92 nations represented in these. Well, God's going to call those people and send them back home. We need to help these folks get there. I was with another one of our brothers from Western Ontario, from Portugal, who says, help me to get back to Portugal. We've got a young man who came from India, came to Western Canada, got into one of our churches there, found Jesus. Every time the church doors were open, he was there. Every time the pastor called people for prayer, he was there. Anytime he could get the pastor to lay hands on him, he'd get in front of the pastor. He was just hungry for everything he could get. Married one of our nice Canadian girls. Went back to India and he's planting a church. Well, let's help him to do that. What better way to reach? He doesn't need to learn the language. What a great opportunity to touch that part of the world. Third thing we can do is we can strategically, securely place people in these restricted access nations, like Brian and Carrie, who are in a place where we have to be creative. We have to get there by different means. And so we reach lost people wherever they are. The Pentecostal Assemblies of Canada, we have not changed our fundamental mission. We are concerned about social justice, and we are concerned about education, and we are concerned about environmental problems. I'm not denigrating any of those things, but our primary purpose is to take the gospel of Jesus Christ. That if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. The transforming power of the Holy Spirit that changes the human heart and gives people hope of eternal life. That's our primary business. But when you reach people, you gotta build them into community. And so we plant churches, communities of Jesus followers that are indigenous and reproducing and transform their communities. I had the privilege of growing up in a church called Nairobi Pentecostal Church. When I was a kid, there were about 40 people in that church. 40. Go there on a Sunday night, it would be the pastor and his family and our family. Lonely Sunday nights. I went back for the 50th anniversary. We needed a whole stadium to fit the church in.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
I'm so proud to call that my home church. I got 2 or 3 home churches around the world. That's one of them. I was baptized in that church when there were about 40 people. Look at it today. An incredibly powerful church that's reaching out beyond its boundaries and doing all kinds of incredible work in its part of the world. But you know, sometimes it's not always like that. This is the Dominican Republic. This is a little church where Adrian and Sandy Thomas are down there working alongside pastors. And here's a church. Right now we're helping them to build this one. It's a little bit nicer so that the community can have pride in where they meet. I want to talk to you about that heart project. One of the things we want to do, maybe through your church you could help us to do it. We've got churches in India like these ones here. Those are their churches. That's what they have to worship in on Sunday morning. For $12,000, we could help them to have a better structure than that. Just $12,000. We're saying to the churches in Canada, why not adopt a church somewhere else in the world? If you're a little bit bigger church, we've got churches that need about $25,000. Not the $1.5 million we need here in Canada. $25,000, $12,000, we can help these people have a better church. And what happens is that church, in those villages, in those Indian villages, or in the Dominican Republic, or in Cuba, or in Malawi, and Zambia, different places where we have this, that church provides health and nutrition instruction, it provides education for kids, it might provide agricultural training, might do some relief work. I was in India, this is Braeside. I love this lady. She's actually got a master's degree in social work. She runs something called Our People Projects, where she goes into communities where there's no church, and rather than just start a church, she starts with a school. And I love these kids here. They're already Pentecostal. Watch them pray. They got such intensity. These are all Hindu children from Hindu backgrounds who come into the church, get an education. This little boy here is praying with such intensity, he almost falls asleep. It was a hot afternoon. They do neat things like I got to give away goats that afternoon, so they'll come in and help a family by providing them with a goat or 2 goats, and that family has to come back and provide a goat for somebody else. But these little Our People projects, we can sponsor one of those for $12,000 and help them to do that kind of work. Went to another part of India while I was there, and this was another one of those Our People projects. It was in a city called Prostitution City. It was a whole place where all the ladies are prostitutes. And what happens in that part of the world is if your mother's a prostitute, you become a prostitute. Unless somebody helps you. This girl here is about 12 or 13 years of age. If it wasn't for that Our People project, she would be in prostitution in some brothel in some part of the world today. But she's been rescued out of that, given a chance for an education. Look at the smile on her face. I said, if we can do that 100 times over, that's what we're about. Rescuing people from what the devil's doing in this world. So we plant churches. Thirdly, we equip servant leaders with integrity and with passion that are committed to preparing God's work for service. We can't do it all by ourselves. One of the things I had the privilege of doing, as well as pastoring and being involved in social justice and other things when I was on the mission field, was training pastors and leaders. I taught regularly in Bible college. And I had a little experience in India, the end of 2008, that really stuck with me. I'd gone to Chennai, India. I was there with Jim Cantillon. We were doing some training about HIV/AIDS, trying to help pastors to understand about the problem in their country and how they can respond to it. We'd had a busy day. It was about 45 degrees the whole day. There is no air conditioning. You are just hot. Get back to our hotel. Fortunately, there was a little tiny swimming pool. Got in that to try and cool off. I'm sitting at supper. I'm absolutely exhausted. I see this group of Irish people sitting over here, and they're chatting away, and I could tell they were a missions team from somewhere. And I said, I'm just too tired to go talk to them tonight. I'm just going to eat my supper and go to bed. And while I'm there, I see this African guy walk across in front of me and go and sit with him. And I said to Jim Cantillon, I said, I know that guy. He said, you don't know that guy. You see an African and Indian, you think you know him because you came from him. Eat your supper and go to bed. Went back to my supper, and I kept looking at that guy, and now I'm eavesdropping. And I can recognize the Zimbabwe accent when I hear when that guy had the Zimbabwe accent. And I knew him. I could see him looking at me, and finally I'd had enough. I went over and I said, excuse me, I can't remember your name, but I know you. And you're from Zimbabwe. He said, yes, Pastor Cornelius, it's me, Philemon Banda. I said, Philemon Banda, it all comes back. I'm getting a little old, and sometimes you forget things, but it all comes back. Philemon was a young orphan boy raised by one of our Canadian families in Zimbabwe. Some of you will know Danny Curl. It's one of Danny Curl's boys. Danny sent him to our Bible college, where I taught him in Bible college for 3 years. He came to the church I was pastoring.